All right, hey everybody, back another news feed here for you. This one, kicking it off here, is the 8.3 Duramax, the MEGAmax, hiding in the new Silverado HDs. We keep hearing about this MEGAmax, and how GM is going to come out with an 8.3 monster that is going to blow the doors off of the 7.3 Godzilla and all this kind of stuff. And well, this article puts it to rest. It puts it into something that you can understand why it isn't happening. And, it's like, stop saying this. We're tired of hearing it. And now, again, internet is filled with this stuff, and they love to promote it, and they love to talk about all these kind of things. Here's the reality, though. I love what GM Authority did here, how they put it into why. Recent spy footage of several prototype GM HD trucks undergoing testing in Colorado has reignited speculation about the long-rumored 8.3 Duramax diesel engine nicknamed MEGAmax. Okay, it goes on, and they talk about it, what it has, and it's a new so-called MEGAmax diesel engine. And here it is. Now, here's why. This is why it's so important. Despite renewed online chatter, GM Authority can confirm that the prototypes are not, in fact, testing a new 8.3-liter Duramax engine. Last year, we dispelled the very same rumor, pointing out that the company was more focused on powertrain optimization for special applications rather than chasing bigger is better displacement or output numbers for bragging rights. Okay, yeah, that sounds like okay, cool, but here's the reality. This is why I love this article. It says here, while the 8.3 diesel might sound appealing to enthusiasts, the reality is that GM's current HD lineup, powered by the 6.6-liter L5P Duramax, already boasts towing figures up to 36,000 pounds with a fifth-wheeler gooseneck. These limits are dictated not by engine output, but by platform and chassis constraints. Let that sink in. Without significant overhaul to the frame, the suspension, the braking system, and additional engine torque would not necessarily yield practical gains in tow or payload. So, yeah, it would be pretty cool to have this engine, but it would do nothing for you. It would actually hurt you. That bigger 8.3 over the 6.6 would be much heavier, much more this and that. And I mean, overall, it would take away from your payload. It would take away from your towing. Even if you did have more horsepower and more torque, you would actually lose out on it and having it. And it says right here, additionally, at such high capability or capacities, any meaningful jump in performance would point towards a heavier duty platform, like a Class 7 commercial truck, well beyond consumer HD segments. So this would be a whole different world if they did. So this is why, stop thinking about it. Quit talking about the MEGAmax. There is no MEGAmax coming. We're not getting it. It is no big deal. The Duramax, amazing Duramax 6.6 is incredible. The gas version, GM 6.6, is absolutely incredible. GM has two rock-solid HD motors. They don't need anything bigger. They don't need anything more. They got it all right there. Forget about the 8.3. Says right here. The engines right here, though, this is interesting. But rather than cradling the so-called MEGAmax, these engines, the ones that we have, these engines are updated versions of the current 6.6 Duramax engine, or Duramax engine. So these new trucks that we're seeing that they're testing and they're going to do stuff with, they're running an updated version. So we know the next HD truck that comes out will have an updated version of the current Duramax engine. Let's see what they got. Look, specific changes include new turbochargers and supporting engine hardware, updated engine calibrations to match the revised components, revised gear ratios for the 10-speed automatic transmission that's in them, and minimal modifications to the vehicle frame. So this next gen of HD truck that they're testing right now in Colorado, these several prototypes that they're running are still, even though they're not going to have the MEGAmax, they are going to have some updates to them. These new engines coming out for them are going to have new turbochargers, new hardware that's going to support that, new calibrations for the engine, new calibrations and gear ratios for the trans, and there will be some modifications, minimal modifications to the vehicle's frame for whatever reason. For now, though, it says the 8.3 simply does not exist, is not going to exist. So pretty interesting to know that we got some changes coming to the Duramax, the 6.6 coming anyway, but forget about the MEGAmax. Now this one, I bought a used car with 6% interest, and a dealership claims the bank pushed back and bumped it to 8%. What can I do? Of course, the dealership claims the bank pushed it back. Let's get into the reality of this here. Imagine if you drove off the lot with your newly financed used car, stoked about your new ride, and relieved that you scored a decent rate of 6% interest, manageable monthly payments, and a peace of mind you didn't get fleeced. You're excited. Okay? We got to go to the rest down here for the rest of the article. Here you go. Your dealer's sour updates probably feel much like a punch in the gut, and it should. This is right here. It says this kind of last-minute rate increase. I didn't miss nothing in here. He skips right over that stuff. I don't know what's going on there. But this kind of last-minute increase is a big red flag. But it's not always an outright scam. Sometimes the lenders genuinely change the terms after taking a closer look at your credit or your cosigner history. BS. That should all be done before you actually give the rate and you sign the papers. BS. You don't get to give somebody the vehicle and let them take off with it and then relook at their stuff later on and fine-tune comb it and come back and say, we changed our mind. No. That's not acceptable. But shady dealers know that too, and they'll use it as a cover to pad their profit. So the dealer might say that the lender did this and come back and force you to pay 2% in there. I'd take them to court. I wouldn't tolerate it. No way. I wouldn't deal with it. But it says you might be considering yourself fortunate to get an 8% rate, even if it's higher than what you were initially offered. Credit agencies like Experian say the average rate in the U.S. is nearly 12%, and that jumps wildly for someone with mediocre credit. Listen to that. Okay, the Experian says the average rate in the U.S. is nearly 12%. That is crazy. That hurts. I honestly believe that rate of 12% is because of the fact that dealers are doing sell rate versus buy rate. So what I mean by that is, and I've said it, I've done many videos on it, let's say they give you a rate of 9.5%, the bank does. The dealership tells you, you got a rate of 12%. You're like, 12's best you can do, and you say, yeah, and you pay 12%. Then a dealer calls up the bank and says, hey, you sold it to us for 9.5%. We got him to buy it at, we got him to buy it at 12%, so we want our 2.5% check in interest. We want that 2.5% sent over to us, and they will. And then you're stuck paying 2.5% for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years on your loan, and the bank makes all that money, but the bank gives the dealership that upfront 2.5% off your total purchase price for a bonus for them. Yet, so the dealer makes $1,500, $2,000 extra on your deal, but yet you're going to pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 in extra interest. This is why I believe this rate is so high. I believe it is dealer markup rates on there, and it is disgusting practice. Absolutely disgusting practice. Banks really do sometimes decline a deal or increase the rate after initial approval, especially in used cars. Dealers often let them take the car before final financing is fully locked down. That's called spot delivery or conditional delivery. I have never heard of that. I don't believe this. I think this whole article is trying to, I think a dealership wrote this article, in my opinion, and they're trying to cover their rear end. I'm not buying into any of this. No part of this makes any sense to me. But it's also true that in a well-known dealer tactic sometimes called yo-yo financing, okay, I thought they were going to talk about buy rate and sell rate. They're not. They're talking about yo-yo financing. A problem so bad the FTC has made a video on it to warn buyers. How about the FTC crack down on the dealers that do it and take away their dealer license? Wouldn't that be nice? The dealer lets you take the car home at a too good to be true rate, knowing they'll call you back later with the bad news. By then, they're betting you'll agree to almost anything to keep it. That is the most disgusting dealer tactic I've ever heard. And if that were ever to happen to me, I'd be like, hey, come and take it. And you know what? Before they did, I would take that thing and I'd do like 60 donuts and burn the tires down bald. And then I'd take that thing mudding and jump it and do whatever I could with it and say, hey, come take your car. Here you go. That's what I bought it for. That's what I was going to do with it. I'm kind of kidding and exaggerating. I don't think you should do that. I'm just saying, no way I would ever tolerate that. I'd be, no, you come and get your piece of crap right now. I'm not doing it. No way. It's just ridiculous. Dealers might also claim the bank rejected the deal when in reality, they're just steering you into a loan with a higher rate that pays them more in commissions or markup. That's buy rate versus sell rate. This is all disgusting. This is the most disgusting stuff we've ever heard. Why is the FTC, the government, and all of these things not cracking down on this scams from dealers every single day? How is this legal? Okay, it's like the fact that like when I had all my businesses, I could never charge anybody 3% fee for using a credit card. I had to charge them the same if it was cash, check, or credit card because it was against the law for me to charge a fee for them to use a credit card. Yet every gas station I drove by for the last 20 years has always said cash price, credit price, cash price, credit price. But no, I couldn't do that. Rules for thee, but not for me. Unbelievable. Let me know your comments. Thanks for watching.